Hello, everyone. My name is Kate, and today I want to talk to you about survival mode, something that I know all too well. So, if you are watching live, please drop a hashtag live in the comments. If you're watching the replay, you can put a hashtag replay in the comments. And I just want to ask you something to get us started. I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that when life is actually going pretty well, your brain may already be looking for the next thing that's going to go wrong? I work with a lot of autoimmune clients. My history, my story is around being diagnosed with MS 20 years ago, 21 years ago, when I was 22 years old. So in 2005. And I was in a place where in life things were going pretty well before things got to my challenging point of diagnosis and the struggle that went after that. But my brain was always looking for what was the next thing that could go wrong. I'd been through a bunch of stuff growing up and in my life at that point, but sometimes this can happen, and I see it with clients all the time. So this could be things like maybe the bills are paid. Maybe the relationship is going okay. Maybe work is going great. Maybe the kids are okay. Nothing terrible is happening today, and yet your mind is already planning for the next disaster. If that's you, I don't actually think you're an overthinker. It's something else could be happening here. And this is what I want you to understand because many people feel like something's wrong with me. Something's not working right because my mind is constantly looking for this next perfect storm. Could be the blow up at work, could be the email, could be there's so many different things. And this is where many clients will come to me, and the problem that they're dealing with is spiraling thoughts or ruminating thoughts. And again, this is all a subconscious mind level problem because it's like, I need to keep you safe. I need to protect you. So it keeps presenting you with all these problems that aren't actually necessarily problems right now. So let's say you're going through life, you finally paid off a credit card, and almost immediately your brain starts wondering what unexpected expense is going to come next. Or maybe you get a nice text from someone, and then your brain starts wondering why they haven't responded to the next one. Or what about you finally finish a project? And instead of feeling proud and feeling amazing, you're already worrying about the next deadline. This can show up in so many different ways in our life. And what's hard to recognize in the moment is that the mind is actually creating this potential threat or this potential problem that may not ever actually happen. It's like your brain never gets to the point where it'll let you enjoy things because it's always preparing for where something might go wrong, where the next big disaster could come from. Do any of these sound familiar? Put in the comments if you've ever had an experience like this. I know when in 2016, so about 10 years ago, I was doing great at work. Things were good. And then all of a sudden, I did end up losing my job unexpectedly. The rug was pulled out from under me. And then for the next 10 years, and anytime in business where things would go well or something would feel like I was on this upswing, my mind was like, when is the rug going to be pulled out from me again? When are things going to go to the pits again? And so this is something that is common to happen, but it's realizing how we can kind of navigate it and work around it so you don't have to live in this place of constantly looking for danger. I think a lot of people believe this means that they have an anxiety problem, which anxiety by definition is a fear of something coming in the future that may never actually happen. So it can seem like an anxiety problem when the mind is creating these things, or you can just feel like maybe I just overthink everything. But what if your brain isn't actually trying to make your life difficult? I used to think it was because this would just keep coming up over and over again. I thought this is just part of who I am. This is really frustrating and annoying. But what if your brain is actually trying to protect you? One of the main goals, pretty much the main goal of the unconscious mind is to protect you, is to keep you alive, to keep you safe. And so it's gonna compare everything like, "Ooh, this is an exciting new experience that you're looking into, but will I be safe in doing it?" It prioritizes safety over progress, over success. And this can show up in many different ways in health and business and relationships. And so what if your mind is actually trying to protect you? Think about someone who spent years putting out fires, years worrying about money, years taking care of everyone else. years waiting for the next crisis. Eventually, being on high alert stops feeling like something you're doing and it starts feeling like a part of who you are. And that's the part I really want people to hear. Survival can start feeling like your identity, feeling like who you are. And this is something that I see all of the time with clients. People tell me, I don't even know how to relax. I can't shut my brain off. I always feel like something bad is coming. And what's hard to understand and recognize is that what we focus on, our unconscious mind is always looking to provide evidence or proof of what that is. So the person who says, I knew something bad was going to happen and then it did. You've been focusing on that so long that the mind literally rearranges things to provide evidence of what you're focusing on. So it can feel like I'm just this really good prediction machine and I'm really good at predicting when things are going to go wrong without realizing that at a subconscious level, in some ways we can actually create these things. And so this is where focusing on what you want is actually much more beneficial than focusing on what you don't want. I experienced this when I was going through my journey with MS and I was always like, I don't want more symptoms. I don't want to deal with brain fog. I don't want to deal with weakness. I don't want to deal with nerve pain. And guess what showed up for me? Symptom, 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 symptom. My mind was like, oh, she's focusing on symptoms all the time. I'm going to show her evidence of that. And so what did I see? More symptoms. This is one of the things that I share often on Facebook, on social media, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on all the different platforms. And I literally have dozens and dozens of people who have shifted their way of thinking to not focus anymore on MS and on what could happen and start focusing on what they want instead. So every day I'm getting healthier and healthier is one of the mantras that I have so many people saying. And the number of messages I get pretty consistently saying, it's weird. I've been saying the thing you told me to say, and these different good things are happening. I used to have numbness and now my legs kind of feel okay. Or I used to feel weak when I was going out walking and I just walked 3 miles yesterday and I'm feeling really good. It's pretty cool what can start to happen when you do start focusing on what you do want. And I squirreled a little bit there because what I was talking about, I do have a podcast coming out tomorrow that is going to go much deeper into what we've been discussing today. Like the whole thing of how survival mode and how kind of the fear can keep us in the place where it feels like a part of who we are without recognizing that that can change. When we're in the place of thinking like, I don't know how to relax, I can't shut my brain off, I always feel like something bad is coming. When we start working together, when I start working with clients, often they realize that they don't have a thinking problem. Their nervous system just never got the message that it's finally safe. And so the podcast episode that's coming out tomorrow, I'm going to go much deeper into these things, like why this happens, why logic doesn't usually fix it, and why even successful people can stay stuck when it comes to survival mode. I'm also going to share with you one simple exercise that you can use the next time your brain starts spiraling. The next time all of these thoughts keep coming in and it's like, I don't even know what's happening here. This is one simple exercise that my clients absolutely love. And it helps to kind of reset this process. The whole point here is our mind has been so used to going out the front door, turn right, out the front door, turn right for a lifetime. And so automatically we start to do things out the front door, turn right. When you can start saying, you know what, I want to go left instead. At times, it's still going to take you back to that path, that auto programming that you've been doing before. But as you start to shift that, you're training the mind that there is another way, that there are other options and other possibilities. So there is a podcast episode coming out tomorrow morning. I will share the link on here tomorrow once it's published. But before we finish this today, I'm curious. When your brain goes into survival mode, what does that usually look like for you? Do you overthink? Do you expect the worst? Do you try and stay busy all the time? That used to be me, for sure. Do you replay the conversations? That's something that I've heard very frequently with clients recently. Or is it something else? If it's one of these, just let me know in the comments. And if not, if it's something else, you can put that in the comments as well. And if this sounds like someone you know, this video today, please share it with them. And then make sure you come back tomorrow, because tomorrow I think this podcast might completely change the way you look at yourself, which can be very powerful in your own ability to move forward, to make different choices, and to help yourself get towards the goals that you want. So I hope you got some value from this episode. Oh, there are some comments in the chat. I totally missed that. Dale says, I avoid my issues. Avoid my issues. Many people do that. I distract, or I definitely have in the past. I'm getting better at it. And Nicole also says, overthinking. This is such a common thing because we think we can think our way out of our problems. And then often we realize that that isn't actually the case. It's not as easy as it seems. But when we can start to recognize that trying to solve an unconscious mind problem at a conscious level, often you're not going to get there. You're just going to scratch the surface and not actually get the resolution that you're looking for. So thank you so much for putting comments in the chat. If you're watching this, if it seems like someone you know, please share it with them. And I hope to see you all tomorrow, because I think you're really going to enjoy this podcast episode. And I'm also going to share with you a simple tips that you can use when this starts to happen in the future, so you can start changing that automatic programming that's been going on probably for a lifetime to start getting a better outcome. Again, my name is Kate. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon.